Video 2 of databases with the database exercise 01, and we've imported our table of data, and what we want to do now is basically filter some of this data by creating a report. So the report that we're going to make will be ultimately to get a list of micro-Z cars for sale. That's what we want to do. So we just want to basically get, say, this information here, but about micro-Z, but the ones that are for sale, this one's been sold, of course, right? So we've got, of course, lots and lots of fields. We've got, I think it was 840 odds. So what we will do is we will search through that information. Now, we will create a report which we will be then able to convert to PDF or maybe a Word document, and then you'll be able to email it. So the first thing we want to do is create a query. So we don't go to report first, we go to query. And the query is basically like a question, and we will create this query in design view. Okay, so now in design view, we pick the table that we want to query, which is the JX11 or JXII cars. Add that and close. And then from the fields, we can select the fields that we want to query. So on the question that you've got, or the worksheet, it says, show only the records where the model is micro-Z and the cars have been sold. So we'll skip that one for the minute and come back to it. So it shows only the fields VIN, model, power. So we'll start off with that. So VIN, model, power, engine size, price, color, location. So we skipped discount applied, and sold. Okay, so all of these ones. Right. So then it said, we'll go back to that first one. So the first one said, shows only the records where the model is micro-Z. So model, this is the field model. And under there, we've got all of these different options. To sort, whether we show it to make it visible, put in some sort of function, and criteria. Okay, and then we've got these ORs at the bottom. So we're going to do criteria, and we're going to do an exact match criteria for micro-Z. Okay, so we just want micro-Z. If I click off that, you can see it's put quotes around it. Okay, so that's good. Right, after that, so that's the first 2 points done. It says fit on a single page wide. We'll skip that for the moment. Orientation landscape, skip that. Sorts the data in descending order of VIN. Okay, so VIN is this first one. Sort in terms of ascending order of VIN. Okay, now you can do this now, or you can do it in report, in the report wizard as well, but we'll just do it now. Okay, so then it says sorts the data in descending order, calculates the total number of micro-Z cars for sale. So we will do that in the report, not here. Includes a heading, so we'll do that in the report, and then that's it. So this is all we have to do. It did say, I think it did say one more thing. The first bullet point shows only the records where the model is micro-Z and the car has not been sold. Okay, so under the sold, we will put a criteria here. Now, in this criteria, it's either true or false, or you can put a 1 for being true or a 0 for false. So I'll just put 0. If I click off that, that's worked, right? So if we save this, and we will call this list of micro-Z cars for sale. List of micro-Z cars for sale. Okay, so this is our query name. Right, so okay that. Now if I close it, you can see I've got my query. So back in table, got my table, query. I can double click on it now, and it gives me 49 records. So that if you've got 49 records, then you know you've done it correctly. Right, so this will be the 49th one, the last one here. Right, so you can see it's micro-Z. The sold was false, so there's nothing that's been sold here. And it is in order of the VIN number. So it starts off 371A, 371B, and C, and so on. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to go to reports. And I'm going to create a report using the wizard this time, because this will help us do it a little bit quicker. Right, so whenever you pick the report wizard, you've got the options of doing a report from tables or queries, and of course we want it from our query. These are the available fields, we want all of those. So then next. Right, so the labeling for the fields, you can get the option obviously to change these, but we want to keep them. So next. And then grouping, do we want to group any of them? Nope. Next. Do we want to sort them? Well, we've already sorted it by the VIN number, but here you can sort, and you can see you can sort by one thing and then by another field and then by another field and so on. So you can do those kind of things. We will just say next. And do we want it tabular format? Yeah, that's the default. We want tabular. And we did have one thing we had to do, said has a page orientation of landscape. So landscape, we've got that already selected. Next, and then a title, list of micro-Z cars for sale. So we've already done that. And then we're going to say, how do you want to proceed after creating the report? Just create the report and then we can modify it afterwards. So we'll finish and just have a look at it. Okay, so this has created it. Here we go. Now you can zoom out a little bit down the bottom right just to see what it looks like. Okay, so good. So we have to put a heading up at the top, and on this report it also says that we need to calculate the total number of micro-Z cars for sale. So that would probably go down here. Okay, and then after that we have to put our name on the right in the footer, so that would be at the bottom of each page. Okay, so we've got the option to edit the document, but we could also just we just close this and then right click and edit on it here. Edit. Okay, so now we've got the edit, we've got page header, page footer. So we'll start off with the page header and we have the title. Okay, now you can see the way it says header here and detail. So what this is, the header is where you've got all our labels for all our field names, and then the detail will be what's going in or coming off our query, coming from our query, and you can see we've got all of these, VIN number, model, power, and so on. This will repeat 49 times because we've got 49 records in our query. So at the top, what we will do is put a label, just up here. And in that label, we just wanted to put that title, okay? So in the label, I just want to say over here, change that and start putting in the title, which was list. Never mind. I just click off that, check that, yeah. Okay, so here, so it was list of micro Z cars for sale. Okay. Now, that's the title. We can obviously change it a little bit. You can change the font and different things like here. So if I click on this, I can make it maybe a little bit bigger, make it bold. I'm just going to leave the rest of it. We don't need to do too much. Now, if I press on this button, execute report, it'll show me what it looks like. So there you go. And it's putting this title, as you can see, on every page, which is fine. If you want, click on the label and just move it over to the left using the arrow keys on the keyboard. You can do that so that you get it pretty much the same. If I execute it now, you can see it's a little bit more better formatted. Okay, perfect. Close that. Right, the next thing I want to do, I can take this properties off, of course, on, off, and over here. Next thing I want to do is calculate how many of these there are. So we have to, not in the page footer, but we'll need to do something in the page footer too. It was bottom right, we have to put our name. So if I just get a label again and put that over here and double click on the label, and in the label I'm going to put my Paul McTeer. Just leave it like that. Take the arrow, put that there. take the properties off for a second, and this one, I'm just going to resize it a little bit. Well, actually, I'll just probably, yeah, up at the top, align to the right, and then just move it a wee bit over to there, something like that. That's fine. Okay, so now I need to just check that's worked okay. Right, so perfect. Okay, it's on there. Close that. Next thing, I need to right click anywhere on the page footer and insert report header footer. Okay, so this is a different thing. Now, this will put it just at the bottom of the count that we want. Okay, so I'm going to do a label again. Put that label in here. And this was total number of microZ cars for sale. So I'm just going to double click on that in the label. Just going to put total number of cars for sale and 2 dots. Okay, so the next thing I need to do, just resize that, make it a little bit bigger. I need to then put this next one, so that was the label. Now I need to put a text box beside this. So if I do text box and pick that option here, if I just try and draw it somewhere else first. Right, now this is a little bit different because we have to do something called a formula. So if I pick the properties again for that, and here I go to data, and instead of field or formula, I can also pick counter, and that will just basically do a count of everything in the report. So that's it done, counter. Take off the properties, preview it, just to check it's worked. Okay, so it'll be on the last page. That's 49, right? Perfect. So now I'm just going to move that over to here to be on this side. And then with the arrow keys, just try and line these things up. I'm going to take the pointer tool, click on this one, move it over, resize that a little bit, move it over to here, click on this one, just make sure it's either left line, right lines, I'm sure it's fine. Okay, so we've got all the information right there. Perfect. If that needs to be over a bit further, I think I'll just chuck it over there. Move that. Hopefully that'll be fine just there. You could put the name a little bit further down if you want, or a bit further up. Preview that. Okay, that's about as good as it's going to get. Right, so once you've done, you just save it. And then you may have noticed if I do execute, when I do execute report, you may notice that we've got options along the top here to do something. So you can save as, and you can say export here, or you can just go directly to export as PDF. So that's probably the best option. Export as PDF, and then you've got the name, list of microZ cars for sale. Take off that 30 at the end. For some reason I've got that. And then I want to say where I want to save it. So I'm just going to save it on my desktop, but you want to save it into your USB or storage area. And then I'm just going to say save. Okay, so that's that done. Close that. Close that. I've now got one report. If I look over here, I can see my PDF, which is 3 pages and all the information on it. Absolutely perfect.